Xiao Yan, following Mu Feng's Taiji 8 trigrams technique, skillfully made his way through the Gate of Seals. As soon as he stepped inside, an overwhelming surge of ghostly qi flooded the area, startling Xiao Yan. The density of this ghostly qi was so thick that it felt like a physical substance, causing him to frown slightly. With a wave of his hands, he felt a significant pressure around him. No wonder this is where the twin ghost emperors are sealed. This place is extraordinary, Xiao Yan murmured in astonishment. Beyond the Gate of Seals, the space was vast. In the distance, a river slowly flowed, and atop it sat a massive, imposing stone. What is that? The Golden Dragon King voiced his surprise from within the ring. Master, what is it? Xiao Yan asked quietly. Get closer. It's too far for me to sense it clearly. The Golden Dragon King's figure appeared, his golden eyes fixed intently on the stone above the river. All right, Xiao Yan responded softly. Covering himself in a milky white flame, he began to cautiously approach the river. The unknown is always the most terrifying, and Xiao Yan proceeded with extra caution to ensure his safety. In an instant, his vast soul power spread throughout the space, and Xiao Yan quickly realized that the river was far from ordinary. The massive stone exuded not only a terrifying aura of evil but also a vast, mysterious power that seemed to surround it. Xiao Yan speculated that the evil aura must be the other half of the twin ghost emperors, while the immense power around it likely belonged to the object used to suppress them. After all, Xiao Yan knew from his master, the Golden Dragon King, that every seal required a sealing artifact. Given the immense power of the twin ghost emperors, it would take a special artifact to maintain a long-lasting seal. Mere strength alone wouldn't be enough for a permanent solution. The balance between these two forces gave Xiao Yan some peace of mind, as it meant the twin ghost emperors wouldn't suddenly break free. If they did, their power would be equivalent to that of a 7-star Do D, a level Xiao Yan would have no chance of surviving against. Still, something strange lingered. Since entering this place, the wails he had heard outside the Gate of Seals had completely vanished. Xiao Yan was certain those cries had been there earlier, but now, they were gone without explanation. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's head snapped up. His gaze locked onto the massive stone in the distance, as a faint call seemed to echo from deep within his soul. There's something about that stone. It's calling to me, he muttered, his eyes fixed on it. The feeling swelled in his chest, unmistakable and powerful. This place is odd. Be careful, the Golden Dragon King warned again, his voice echoing with caution. This is the sealing ground of the twin ghost emperors. Take no risks. Xiao Yan maintained his control over the milky white flames, illuminating the space around him, and made a shocking discovery. The river was black. The entire space was divided by this black river, with no visible crossing point anywhere. The sight heightened Xiao Yan's vigilance. His dark brown eyes scanned the area carefully, looking for any clues, but after several minutes, he still found nothing. Approaching the edge of the black river, Xiao Yan began a closer inspection. The river stretched dozens of meters wide, and its waters were as dark as the ghostly qi, yet there was no sign of any passage across. His gaze shifted downward toward the river, and to his horror, he saw bleached white bones resting at the bottom. Xiao Yan's pupils contracted sharply. This river is definitely strange, Xiao Yan muttered, his suspicions confirmed. The moment he had seen the black river dividing the space, he had known it wasn't ordinary. Go! Xiao Yan's dark brown eyes flickered, and with a thought, a milky white flame flew toward the far side of the river under his control. Standing at the river's edge, he watched as the flames soared over the black water. A terrifying force instantly crushed the milky white flames, and in the blink of an eye, they were suppressed, plummeting straight into the black river like a falling stone. As soon as the flames touched the surface, they were extinguished in an instant. Xiao Yan, fully aware of the immense power of his milky white flames, was shocked. The black river was filled with strange and ominous properties. It seemed that something above the river exerted a suppressive force. The moment the flames reached the space above the black river, they were forced down, plunging into the river below. Xiao Yan's senses sharpened, realizing the terrifying power hidden within the river. If he hadn't been cautious with his initial test, the consequences could have been disastrous for him. Damn it! What is this thing? Xiao Yan cursed inwardly. Though the treasure was likely within reach, he dared not proceed recklessly. Could this be the forbidden water domain? The Golden Dragon King's golden eyes shifted from the massive stone back to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's actions had not gone unnoticed by the Golden Dragon King, who now seemed to recall something. Forbidden water domain? Xiao Yan muttered, hearing the term for the first time. Judging by the name and his own recent experience, it was clearly not something simple. The Forbidden Water Domain is a mysterious barrier that isolates and suppresses all power. It's specifically designed to cut off the strength of intruders, the Golden Dragon King explained. Only by summoning the Water Domain Bridge can you cross it safely. This Black River, the space above it is the Forbidden Water Domain. No matter how powerful you are, within this space, you'll be reduced to the strength of an ordinary person. You'll have to cross it step by step, slowly. The Golden Dragon King continued, his tone uncharacteristically solemn. However, there are ways to summon the Water Domain Bridge. You'll need that to pass. Master, don't worry, Xiao Yan reassured him after a brief pause. He had already mentally prepared himself for such challenges the moment he entered the ghost-suppressing well. I've told you all I know. If something goes wrong, be ready to retreat, the Golden Dragon King warned. Understood, Xiao Yan nodded. Let's get ready. With that, the Golden Dragon King unleashed a terrifying wave of energy, sending it surging toward the Black River. Strangely, the attack didn't strike the river directly. Instead, the energy spread out over the river's surface. Boom, boom, boom. In response to the Golden Dragon King's attack, a narrow, straight bridge appeared above the river. It was faint and ethereal, yet exuded an unmistakable sense of danger. So this is the Water Domain Bridge, Xiao Yan murmured, taking a moment to adjust his state before locking his gaze on the bridge ahead. The bridge was entirely transparent, running straight from where he stood to the other side of the Black River. Now that we're ready, let's go. Without further hesitation, Xiao Yan took a bold step onto the bridge. As soon as his foot touched the bridge, Xiao Yan's expression became grave. A suffocating pressure instantly assaulted him from all directions, as if an enormous boulder was weighing him down. His teeth ground together audibly as he fought to endure the immense force. Despite the overwhelming pressure, Xiao Yan was pleasantly surprised to find that his Naiwan Palace, which had shown no signs of progress for a long time, was slowly expanding under the strain. Though the process was painfully slow, it was real progress. The size of the Naiwan Palace was directly tied to Xiao Yan's strength as a battle array master, so this discovery reassured him, giving him the confidence to keep moving forward. "D-damn," Xiao Yan muttered through gritted teeth. The Water Domain Bridge's fearsome reputation was clearly well-deserved. Ignoring the pain, Xiao Yan slowly lifted his right foot, preparing to take another step forward. Boom! As soon as Xiao Yan raised his foot, it felt as though he were lifting a boulder weighing thousands of pounds. His foot barely rose 10 centimeters before it was forced back down by the immense pressure. The oppressive force of the Water Domain Bridge made every movement excruciating. Ah! Xiao Yan cried out in agony as he slammed his foot down for the next step. At first, the heavy gravity on the Water Domain Bridge was already enough to suppress Xiao Yan, but as he advanced further, he was shocked to discover that an even more terrifying spiritual force now enveloped him. This overwhelming spiritual pressure surged out from the Black River beneath the bridge, directly assaulting Xiao Yan's spirit. He had made it 1/3 of the way across the bridge, yet now he had to endure both the crushing weight and the terrifying spiritual oppression. The invisible spiritual force rose from the Black River below and immediately attacked Xiao Yan's spiritual sea, causing him to roar in pain. Xiao Yan's spiritual sea was still relatively small, just over a meter in size, making it vulnerable. The relentless assault from this invisible force forced Xiao Yan to cry out in agony. "Damn it!" he cursed, as blood began to pool in his eyes, a clear sign that his spirit was being injured by the attack. Each step he took became heavier as he struggled to resist the spiritual pressure. He quickly summoned his soul power in an attempt to resist the force with his own spirit, But to his dismay, his soul power was immediately drawn into the black river below, as if the river possessed an insatiable appetite for spiritual energy. Undeterred, Xiao Yan tried to summon his Do Qi to protect himself, but just like his soul power, it too was absorbed into the depths of the black river, vanishing without a trace. His pupils constricted as he realized the gravity of the situation. Xiao Yan carefully observed the black river and the bridge above it, growing increasingly wary. "This is going to be trouble," he muttered. He could feel that the overwhelming spiritual pressure was strong enough to tear him apart. Worse still, this pressure seemed to have a mind of its own, striking whenever Xiao Yan let his guard down. This forced him to stay on constant alert. Xiao Yan halted his advance, recognizing that while he couldn't predict when the next spiritual attack would come, the force was still surrounding him. If he showed any sign of weakness, it would be the end of him. Though he stopped moving, the massive weight still bore down on him, forcing him to hunch over slightly. As Xiao Yan scanned the Black River, he grew more convinced that the source of the spiritual pressure was hidden within the river. The Black River not only had a mysterious force that suppressed all power, but also concealed the water domain bridge's crushing gravity and the terrifying spiritual force lurking in the shadows. "No wonder so many have died here," Xiao Yan muttered to himself. "They must have endured countless trials to reach the heart of this sealing ground, only to be overwhelmed by the dangers here. This truly is the core of the ghost-suppressing well, where the twin ghost emperors are sealed," Xiao Yan said with difficulty. After a brief rest, Xiao Yan resumed his journey forward. He carefully lifted and lowered his feet, knowing that if he could just pass through this forbidden water domain, what awaited him on the other side could change everything. The thought renewed his determination. Step by step, strange, the spiritual pressure seems to have vanished. Xiao Yan observed as he reached the center of the bridge. It made no sense. He had not been attacked by the spiritual pressure for some time now, which felt wrong. "Xiao Yan, be careful," the Golden Dragon King's voice suddenly rang out. Boom, boom, boom. Just as the warning echoed, a terrifying force erupted and struck Xiao Yan violently. Xiao Yan had no defenses in place. Both his soul power and Do Qi had been sealed, leaving him completely exposed to the spiritual attack. Under normal circumstances, an ordinary person would have perished immediately from such a blow. "Ah!" Xiao Yan roared as the force slammed into him, and an explosion rippled through the air. Yet, despite the overwhelming assault, Xiao Yan remained standing on the water domain bridge, an outcome that defied logic. Though he sustained injuries, with blood dripping from his eyes, nose, and mouth, Xiao Yan remained upright. More astonishingly, during the spiritual attack, the divine motion, life-bound rune within his Naiwen palace had begun to tremble violently. It seemed as though the rune had reacted strongly to the spiritual pressure that had attacked him. Xiao Yan's dark brown eyes flickered with realization, and he resumed walking forward. The invisible spiritual pressure, having failed once more, began gathering itself for an even more massive assault. Spiritual attacks target the nervous system and brain. If someone's nervous system or brain were severely damaged, the result could either be mental impairment or the complete loss of consciousness. This was the true terror of spiritual attacks. Xiao Yan kept moving forward, and soon he was nearing the edge of the water domain bridge. At that moment, a terrifying spiritual force surged at him again. Boom, boom, boom. The invisible spiritual attack struck Xiao Yan, but instead of causing a massive explosion, Xiao Yan remained standing firmly. A grin spread across his face, and he laughed. "I've been waiting for you." With a wave of his hands, a small yet brilliantly glowing rune appeared in front of Xiao Yan. The moment it manifested, the terrifying spiritual pressure was strangely drawn toward the rune, as if it had found its target. The moment the divine motion, life-bound rune appeared, it transformed into a terrifying vortex, absorbing all the spiritual force attacking Xiao Yan. The mysterious spiritual energy, sensing something amiss, attempted to flee, but the rune's suction power surged, leaving no escape as it absorbed every last bit. As the divine motion rune devoured this overwhelming spiritual force, Xiao Yan felt his Naiwen palace, originally only about a meter in size, suddenly expand rapidly within his body. Feeling the rapid expansion deep within his core, Xiao Yan was overjoyed. Without hesitation, he sat down cross-legged at the center of the water domain bridge, closed his eyes, and carefully began to observe the changes happening inside him. Ever since Xiao Yan learned about the Battle Array Master, he had known that mastering this art would greatly enhance his combat abilities. But despite gaining the identity, the lack of proper cultivation methods had left him frustrated, like a beautifully decorated pillow with no substance. He had been anxious about it for a long time, but things had changed. After the divine motion rune absorbed the spiritual energy from the water domain bridge, his Niwen palace began to swell. Crack, crack. Xiao Yan gritted his teeth, enduring the pain. Although it wasn't nearly as excruciating as when he first opened the Niwen palace, it was still a significant torment. After all, both soul power and spiritual power directly affected the most delicate parts of the body, the nerves and the brain. It was no wonder Xiao Yan was struggling. As the divine motion rune absorbed the mysterious spiritual force from the bridge, chaos erupted within Xiao Yan's mind. When the rune finally returned to its place in his Niwen palace, the turmoil subsided. However, the absorbed spiritual energy was now violently clashing against the tiny Niwen palace, bombarding it from every side. Boom, boom, boom. The intense pain buzzed in Xiao Yan's mind, but no matter how much discomfort the expanding Niwen palace caused, Xiao Yan gritted his teeth and held on. More than anyone, he craved strength and understood that this was the only way to gain it. As time passed, the Niwen palace continued to swell. His spiritual sea, once just a meter across, rapidly expanded, stretching out to several dozen meters in an instant. Before Xiao Yan could fully express his joy, he immediately set the divine motion rune spinning within him again. 4,000 core runes, 5,000 core runes, 5,500 core runes. Previously, Xiao Yan had only been able to condense 3,000 core runes, which was more than enough to handle a 3-star Do-D. But now, with 5,500 core runes, there was a qualitative leap in his power. 5,500 core runes. With that level of power, Xiao Yan felt confident that he could even face a 5-star Do-D head-on. Sitting cross-legged on the bridge, Xiao Yan couldn't help but laugh out loud. He had never expected that the terrifying spiritual force on the water domain bridge would be so perfectly absorbed by him, thanks to a fortunate coincidence. However, Xiao Yan also knew that without the divine motion life-bound rune given to him by that mysterious elder, he would have likely fallen victim to the spiritual force's attack and ended up as another set of bleached bones in the forbidden water domain's Black River. But in the end, Xiao Yan succeeded. His excitement grew, not just because his Niwen palace had expanded several times over, but because the divine motion rune in his Niwen palace was only a quarter of its full form. 1/4. If he could gather all 4 parts of the rune, the true power of the divine motion life-bound rune would be unimaginable. Xiao Yan smiled, knowing that finding the other 3 parts of the rune would be another task for the future. But there was no rush. He had plenty of time ahead. It feels incredible, Xiao Yan muttered, feeling the expansion of his Niwen palace, bringing a sense of comfort that coursed through his entire body. Legends say that truly powerful battle array masters can unleash formations with a mere wave of their hand, capable of overturning seas and mountains. A great battle array master is like a sovereign, cutting down enemies as easily as slaughtering livestock. The Golden Dragon King's voice spoke up, a hint of amusement in his tone. I remember hearing about a powerful battle array master who once fought alone against 10 Docian powerhouses and countless Do-D elites, all to save his lover. Do you know what happened? The Golden Dragon King asked, chuckling. Did that battle array master win? Xiao Yan asked in surprise. Yes, and it was an easy victory, the Golden Dragon King replied casually. With one formation, he trapped all the Do-D powerhouses, and with another, he ensnared the 10 Docians. He toyed with them in his formations, defeating the 10 Docians effortlessly. The Golden Dragon King said, 10 Docians? Xiao Yan's pupils contracted sharply in disbelief. Heh, don't think it's impossible. The true strength of a battle array master lies in their formations. The more powerful the array, the greater its might. But it also requires a vast reservoir of spiritual energy from the master to sustain it. And here's the most important part. In their own formation, a battle array master is invincible. The Golden Dragon King continued slowly. Invincible? Xiao Yan echoed, shocked. He knew the weight of the word invincible. If a battle array master was truly invincible, yes, invincible. In their own formation, a battle array master is the core, the controller. As long as they are within their formation, they cannot be defeated. The Golden Dragon King said, "All right, don't get ahead of yourself. The path to power must be taken one step at a time," the Golden Dragon King cautioned. "But you, boy, really did turn disaster into a blessing this time. Let's move on," the Golden Dragon King's voice concluded, filled with a sense of satisfaction. Xiao Yan nodded in understanding after hearing the Golden Dragon King's words. He had sensed that if not for the sudden appearance of his divine motion life-bound rune, his master, the Golden Dragon King, would have intervened to deal with the terrifying spiritual energy. Xiao Yan shot a grateful glance at his master. Though the Golden Dragon King didn't always reveal everything to him, Xiao Yan could feel the constant, subtle care he received. Xiao Yan, being a person of deep emotion, though silent, kept these gestures of care close to his heart. After a moment's hesitation, Xiao Yan resumed his heavy, slow steps forward. With the enhancement from the spiritual energy he had absorbed, traversing the water domain bridge became significantly easier. There were no longer any suppressive forces, and Xiao Yan soon reached the other end of the bridge. The moment his feet left the bridge, it vanished without a trace. "This," Xiao Yan muttered with a wry smile. "No turning back now. Move forward." The Golden Dragon King's soul form floated out and fixed his golden gaze straight ahead. Xiao Yan lifted his head and noticed that, past the eerie black river, the ghostly qi in the air seemed significantly thinner. He couldn't help but wonder why. "How strange! I keep hearing the sound of crying," Xiao Yan whispered, continuing forward. The milky white flames from his body flickered with a red hue, faintly illuminating the area around him. His dark brown eyes scanned his surroundings as he cautiously advanced. As he moved farther from the Black River, Xiao Yan realized that the water in the river had become surprisingly clear, though the numerous white bones scattered along its bed were disturbingly obvious. It wasn't a place where anyone could remain calm for long. A faint sobbing sound echoed in the space, barely audible yet persistent. Xiao Yan activated his flame mantra as he made his way deeper into the space, where a massive stone lay. However, no matter how much spiritual or soul power Xiao Yan used, he couldn't sense what was inside the large stone. He had no choice but to abandon the attempt and carefully observe the surroundings. The space was vast, at least several hundred meters wide. Beyond the forbidden water domain, at the edge of the space, there stood a towering stone stele, glowing faintly with a divine light. Not far from the stele lay the bottom of the chamber, and the strange sobbing sound seemed to be emanating from within the stele itself. Xiao Yan moved slowly, suppressing his footsteps to avoid making any sound. Sweat began to bead on his forehead as he neared the stele, his caution growing with every step. Based on the information Xiao Yan had gathered, this stele was likely the place where the twin Ghost Emperors were sealed. The twin Ghost Emperors, two souls in one body, were powerful beyond belief. Even facing just one half of the twin Ghost Emperors was enough to make Xiao Yan wary, as he had already encountered their strength at the cold pool and here in the ghost-suppressing well. They were too powerful for him to take lightly. How strange! Why does this stele contain such terrifying ghostly qi? The Golden Dragon King murmured as they got closer. Could it be the twin Ghost Emperors? Xiao Yan asked, his voice heavy with suspicion. Impossible, the Golden Dragon King replied firmly. The ghostly qi from the twin Ghost Emperors is strong, yes, but focus. Sense the stele more closely. At his master's command, Xiao Yan probed the stele once again. As he drew closer, the stone stele glowed even brighter, and to Xiao Yan's astonishment, the ghostly qi in the space grew so thin it was almost negligible. This stele is terrifying, Xiao Yan muttered. realizing that the stele seemed to be absorbing all the ghostly chi from the surrounding space. It was as though the stele had come alive, devouring the chi until nothing remained. As the stele's glow intensified, an ancient and primordial aura began to awaken, something that seemed to come from the depths of prehistory. Why is the ghostly chi within this stele so dense? And why does it feel different from the ghostly chi we've encountered before? Xiao Yan's brow furrowed. It feels more like the aura of the Soul Clan from the Do Chi continent. Be on your guard. At the first sign of trouble, we leave. The Golden Dragon King's voice carried a rare note of caution. Understood, Xiao Yan responded, stepping slowly toward the stone stele. Meanwhile, in a distant pavilion, Hu Du's voice turned serious. Someone has entered the sealing ground? That's impossible, he muttered to himself. The Gate of Seals is protected by the combined efforts of 3 senior uncles. Hu Du's voice grew tense. The sealing ground had special mechanisms in place that allowed them to detect intruders. The moment anyone set foot inside, they would know. Damn it, I hope it's not someone from the ghost realm, Wu Jiang said gravely. Wu Jiang had fought in the previous battle against the ghost realm and knew all too well the terrifying power of the twin ghost emperors. Wu Jiang knew all too well that the points plundering competition had only 5 days left before it concluded, yet the ghostly entities had remained eerily quiet. Such silence was often the calm before a storm. I can't wait any longer. Summon the officials responsible for overseeing the competition and head into the forest of EngSubs. Wu Jiang ordered decisively. One half of the twin ghost emperors has already broken the seal at the cold pool. As for the forest of EngSubs, we absolutely cannot allow the other half of the twin ghost emperors to break free. If the two halves reunite, it will bring chaos and bloodshed to our mystic 3 heavens. Wu Jiang finished, and with a wave of his hands, a gray light illuminated the outskirts of the forest. This is, someone muttered, the signal to enter the forest. Could it be that the ghostly entities have already broken free of their seal? Another person wondered aloud. That's unlikely. With Wu Jiang and the others in charge, nothing should go wrong. We should head in, one of the officials outside the forest of EngSubs remarked. These officials were responsible for the points plundering competition. Let's move, Wu Jiang said with a grim expression, flying toward the entrance of the forest of EngSubs. Understood, Hu Du responded, following closely behind. As the two disappeared into the forest, faint figures of ghostly creatures began appearing in the numerous crystal spheres inside the pavilion. These entities seemed to be searching for something. Another one, deep within the second layer of the forest of EngSubs, heaps of human bodies had been piled into small mountains. Mu Lu stood amidst the carnage, beaming with a sinister grin. Under his command were ghostly creatures from the ghost realm, as well as key figures from Crimson Mountain and Crimson Valley. The power at his disposal had swelled his confidence. Keep going. Our target this time is every participant in this points plundering competition. We'll offer up these ignorant humans to our ghost emperor as a celebration for breaking the seal. Mu Lu laughed eerily, his grin full of malevolence. Move out. The ghostly entities beside Mu Lu exchanged glances and vanished once again. In the place where Mu Lu stood, numerous humans lay unconscious, all bound by pitch-black chains. Each chain emanated an ominous and terrifying aura, ensuring that none of the captured participants could move. Though there were still 5 days left until the end of the competition, the forest of EngSubs had already descended into chaos. All across the forest, similar scenes unfolded. Groups of black-cloaked figures, faces hidden, moved swiftly and silently through the forest, ambushing participants in the competition. Their methods were nearly identical. Chains were their main weapon. Once a chain struck, the participant would immediately lose the ability to fight back, leaving them helpless to be carried off by the cloaked figures. Xiao Yan, you little rat, Mu Lu muttered with a twisted smile. This time, I will make sure you have no place to die. Back near the stone stele, Xiao Yan was struck by the oppressive aura radiating from it. This is terrifying, he muttered, unable to hide his shock. The aura emanating from the stele was undeniably ghostly chi, yet there was something disturbingly familiar about it. Having fought many battles against the Soul Clan back on the Dochi continent, Xiao Yan recognized their aura, and this stele was brimming with it. This revelation stirred Xiao Yan's thoughts. He recalled the phantom spring ghost spirit he had encountered in the cold pool. It too had been a soul-based entity. The ghost realm and the Soul Clan must be connected somehow. Xiao Yan pondered aloud, finally understanding the connection. Suddenly, a loud voice rang out, startling Xiao Yan. Who dares trespass in the Forbidden Land?